Ooh, the girls are fired up after this one. I'm Anna Rumor with Pop Culture.
And I'm Nick Valdez from comicbook.com.
And this is Dragged, where we offer up our unfiltered opinions about RuPaul's Drag Race. And that's no baloney. This week we're going in on episode 8 of All Stars 8, and oh my gosh, what an ending, what a challenge. Nick, what did you think about this week's episode?
First of all, if Jimbo threw baloney at me, I don't know. I'm not that person. I'll admit that. Like, I would instantly be like, okay, game's over. You know, I'm done. I'm quitting too, you know.
For my mental health, I have to go home.
Yeah, you did not just hit me with that baloney. But what a fun challenge, you know, recreating All Stars winners' looks in fun ways, but also not recreating them. I love a design challenge. We're back. Like, after so many acting challenges, right? Like, it's like, yes, more, but this, please.
I agree, and I like the fact that, yes, they were using these trunks filled with winter-inspired fabrics and accessories, that kind of thing, but they didn't have to create a look for that queen. We've had challenges that are kind of similar to this in the past, where I was a little muddy on what the ultimate goal was, but this one, I knew what we were doing, I think the girls knew what they were doing, and it made for a much better challenge, in my opinion.
Which box would you want, by the way?
Oh, okay. So I am a Trixie Mattel stan. I would need that box. The pink PVC, the like 60s inspired designs, that is all me all day. What about you?
Yeah, no, totally agree. I'm best with pastels. I love like the brighter colors, and yeah, Trixie Mattel is my aesthetic. I totally agree. You know, I would not look good in anything else from anybody else. Just especially when you like see the fabrics and stuff they're working with. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. I could not pull that off. No way.
Who do you think had the hardest box? I thought they were generally like similar, but what would be the hardest for you, do you think?
Honestly, I think it was Lala Ree's and 𝐏𝐶 you know, because Lala, we see, has so many issues like putting the looks together, because while 𝐏 has those really bright colors and vibrant designs, it's really only like for 𝐏.
Yeah.
And it's clear that, you know, when Lala puts the dresses together, she made 3 of them because none of them really worked out. And, you know, I get it, because it's like, well, 𝐏's so unique that it's kind of hard to build something from that core, because 𝐏 builds for 𝐏.
Right. I mean, it's like taking Naomi Campbell's wardrobe and trying to put it on anyone else. It's not going to work.
Yes. There you go. That's a perfect way to put it.
For me, I think the hardest one would be Kylie's, because all of it was sheer. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, that's very true. If you're not a body queen, like, I mean, I don't even know. Kylie's got that confidence, right? Of like, well, you know, you can have it all. And me, I'm like, no, I'll keep some of it, thank you.
Now let's get into what they actually made and how this process went, because it was kind of hit or miss. Right off the bat, let's talk about Candy, who chose Monet Exchange's box. And she was struggling with the sewing process. What did you think about how she did and the ultimate result?
I'm okay with Candy like struggling. I know that sounds weird, but it's like, like Monet's also a tough queen, because, you know, she got the sponges in the case. Of course, like Candy, of course, was not going to use the sponges. They're just iconic at this point. Yeah. But I think her final look wasn't really Monet either. Because Monet has that little bit of creativity that kind of adds a little twist to the glamour. Candy, well, she ultimately had a gown, and, you know, it looked as good as it did. Yeah. It's just, you know, Monet would have taken that and brought it that extra level.
The fact that you said it looked as good as it did is very funny to me. I mean, it did. It was like a black tank dress.
Yeah, like it looked as good as it did. I don't really know how else to explain it. It like the fit was a bit weird. Like I have trouble like criticizing fits in these design challenges, because they did just make all these. So that's not necessarily a concern, but when there's not much to work with and not much to actually look at and break down, it's those little details where I'm like, okay.
And it's when you're up against someone who is like Jimbo or like Alexis, who we'll talk about in a second, where the fit is so spot on that it's like, okay, other people are doing this, you kind of have to be doing it as well. This is the level that the competition is at. So that, for me, I was like, eh. But of course, her face and her hair, it looked great. She's always beautiful, even if she's wearing something that's whack, which is a lot of the time.
Like, that's the other thing. Like, it's with Kandy, it's like, well, it looks as good as it does.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I did just mention Jimbo, so let's talk about Jimbo's look. My favorite look, I have to say. I mean, I told you I was a Trixie stan, so this is, of course, gonna work for me. She comes out in this face 𝐒𝐁𝐒 with the pearl face sewn onto it, and this iconic pink jacket made of PVC. Like, the gall, the gumption, the skill that it took to make all of this in the same amount of time that Kandy made that tank dress, that's insane.
That kind of really highlights that part of it too, right? Where it's like, well, Jimbo was able to do all of this in that same amount of time. And when you look at everybody else, it's like, oh no. But like, Jimbo just has these ideas that I just have to give them credit, like just being able to pull this off. And throughout the whole episode, Jimbo was like distracted and saying, oh, I don't know if I'll finish everything in time. I have everything. And it's like, no, of course Jimbo is going to finish. Come on. And to see it so highly polished and to see that, like, the pearl smile, I was in. You did it, Jimbo. This was great.
It's so good. And every detail of it was so finished that it was just impossible to not love, even if you don't like the face 𝐒𝐁𝐒 look, which I don't know if I do. The fact that this was the assignment and you go out and you make that's gall, and I love that.
I mean, the fact that that's what we looked at for the rest of the episode, right? Like, that kind of helps it too, where it's like, face 𝐒𝐁𝐒 or not, we looked at Jimbo like this for the entire, and Jimbo just could not see and kept referencing the fact that Jimbo could not see, and I was in. You did it, Jimbo. This was incredible. This was a great look, and you pulled it off.
Okay, let's move on to Lala and 𝐿𝐴. We talked about how this was kind of a challenging box in the first place, and yeah, she was challenged. She made 3 dresses that barely worked out, and the last one only had 1 sleeve because she didn't have enough fabric.
I liked it though. That's the thing. Like, maybe I'm repeating myself here because I did say this a couple episodes ago. It's like, oh, maybe I just like this because it's Lala. But honestly, I really like this. Like, it's simple. You compare it to Kandy's, and I could say all the same things I said with Kandy's. Like, this is what you did with the amount of time, but it looked great on her. Like, I don't know, like, and I'm fine with the 1 sleeve. I thought that was a design choice.
So did I. I also didn't hate this dress. Yes, it was simple, but if we have to pit her against Kandy, which we do in the episode, Kandy made that 1 dress. Lala made 3. This is the one of the 3 that worked, and it's still a pretty decent dress. Is it the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life? No. But Lala did a good job. It was a passable dress. I did agree that the choker at the top kind of shortened her neck, but otherwise, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I like the color on her. I hate that wig, but you know.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the wig either, but that creamsicle look is great for her. I hope she invests in this color.
Please,
she does look great in it. And the fit was much better than Kandy's. So like, of course, I had no issues, but we're at the point of the competition where it's like, you see what Jimbo did, and you see what the next competitor does, and it's like, well, okay, I get it. Someone has to be on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about the next person up, you are talking about Alexis, who comes out in this Trinity the Tuck outfit. Oh my God. This looks custom made from a designer. The fit is impeccable. This looked perfect on her.
Importantly, it also looks like a Trinity look.
Yes.
Like, you've got the long train. She's even got the kind of wig Trinity would wear in that situation. Like the very the pageantry of it all. Like, it definitely looks like a Trinity the Tuck look. It was so funny because Alexis was the one saying that, oh, we don't really need to copy them. We just need to show our own looks inspired by them. And I'm like, okay, but you still did a Trinity the Tuck look. But it was good. It was just missing that Trinity would have like opened it a little bit more, if you know what I mean. But it was good.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I did love that she kind of kept her own interpretation of the challenge to herself. She is a gamer, and that is one thing that I'm always saying on All Stars. These girls need to be gaming a little bit more, and you know, Alexis is taking a lot of heat online for this right now. Undeservedly, in my opinion, as always, but I like the way that she plays the game.
Yeah, like she was clearly ready to win one. And, you know, and I get why we get the end result at the end of the day, because this is a great look. Yes, yeah. Jimbo's was also fantastic, but this was just super polished, and it's like, oh, you kind of have to reward it for that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Jimbo's already won, what, 3? Of giving her 4th at this point in the game is not super interesting narratively if we're talking about the production side of it, honestly.
Very good point, very good point. But also, you know, it wasn't that clear of a win either, because Jessica Wilde, in her Kylie Sonique Love look, was... Oh my God, I love this look so much.
Yes.
It's super playful, it's open, it's fun, it's like, it's so well made too, and it's a great Jessica Wilde look.
I loved that she took this dress that, it was pretty, but it could have been called too basic, and just that rhinestone little sash connected at the hip made it a totally different outfit. It made it really beautiful. It made it more Kylie. And also it might have, you know, Jessica was saying, I don't love a design challenge. This might have saved her a little bit with some of the foibles that were maybe hidden underneath. I don't know what's under there.
I don't know, and I don't care to know, because she was rocking it, and like I don't know, I'm a big sucker for a way a thing flows, and like when she kind of spun around and it was kind of asymmetrical in the way it kind of landed, and just I was all in. I loved it. You go, Jessica. You go all the way to the finals. I can't wait.
Honestly, I am so in love with her, but she could have come out here in like a burlap sack and I'd be like, yay, good. I love it.
I mean, it would have been as good as it is, right?
We get to the judging of this episode. A lot of this episode was not filler, but just a lot of people talking about like, what would you do if you had to vote? What would you do? And I was like, okay, we didn't get a mini challenge, but whatever. We get to the judging, and our tops are, unsurprisingly, Alexis, Jimbo, and Jessica. But Alexis is our winner, and I think we both agree that this is the right take.
Yes, it was tough, but fair, I think some would say in this situation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just the pure acumen for sewing that she showed, especially after her season 9 sewing debacle, I think that this really was like a satisfying narrative loop, and it's her first win for the season, which is big too as we come down to the finals. But when it comes to the bottom, we've got Lala and Kandi. Again, I think that's right. I mean, who else are you gonna pick?
Tough but fair, same thing. Yeah, it made a lot of sense.
With Alexis being our winner, she comes to our lip sync, who we have Nikki Doll coming in all the way from France to say bonjour. I almost forgot the word for hello. French, that's where we are at for today.
Cool seeing Nikki Doll again. What, like, as lip sync assassin? I don't know. I've seen some Gia Gunn used memes around this, and I do agree. I'll just leave it at that. You know, but fun seeing her again. Good push for Drag Race France. Let's go France. Yeah.
Yeah, I get why we were doing it, but yeah, I was watching and I was like, can we bring in some real assassins again? Because this was, and it was, these boots were made for walking, which could be fun. I feel like Jinx would and like the Jinx and Monet face off would have been fun to this song, but Alexis versus Nikki was, I don't know, it was fine. Alexis did fine. Better than Nikki.
Yeah, like Alexis did what, it was as good as it was.
That's the theme for this week. It was as good as it was. I did like the slow split that Alexis did at one point. That was cool.
Yeah, I loved her kicking her boots up, towards the end there. It just as a little, hey, we're gonna end this in 10 seconds. I gotta do something. A little more, just that little extra push. Alexis, as we've said, plays the game. She knows what she was doing.
Yeah.
That won't win her the crown at the end of the day, but she knew what she had to do, and that was enough.
So she wins, unsurprisingly, and she chooses Lala to go home. This is why people are upset. I personally would have chosen Kandi to go home, not only because I think she did worse in the challenge, but because I think that she is a little bit of a bigger threat in the competition just because Ru loves her so much, honestly.
Yeah, see, that made zero sense. Like, you're talking about people upset. I'm upset. I'm one of those people. Like, how dare you send Lala home? She saved you last week. For Alexis to be there, they're like, I will never forget this for the rest of my life. Like, laying it on super thick, right? Like, I will die for you kind of things. But, like, yeah, and then as soon as she gets it in her hand, she's like, oh, well, I'm sorry I had to do this. But yeah, it's Lala, which zero sense. You're right, because, yeah, I mean, Lala might be the quote-unquote weaker competitor of the two, but, you know, I really, that's just me being selfish. Like, I just wanted to keep her, like, in this competition. I guess we're gonna get, like, Kandy doing the narration from now on, which is fine, but I'm gonna miss that the most.
Lala gives great confessional. I just love her. I love seeing more of her, and it is just funny to have Alexis be like, don't worry, I've got you, like, eyes, 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 and then being like, actually, no, you're going home, like 15 seconds later.
And Kandy was crying because she's like, oh, here it comes. Like, she was waiting for it the whole time. And then Alexis was like, no, I'm here to play a game and betray the person I said I would die for. You know, so, like, I mean, I guess, you know, kudos to Alexis. Thank you for great television. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, but I don't know. I don't think this was the move either. I mean, Kandy has a really good chance of making it to that top 3. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if if this bites Alexis at the end of the day. Well,
she's certainly not getting that post-show romance with Lala that she was hoping for.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one. See? Oh my God, on top of everything. Like, this is, come on, Alexis. No,
Shooting yourself in the foot there. Next week, we have got the roast of the season, the roast of Carson Kressley. I am very excited for that, but I'm triple excited because Katya is coming back to do something, and I cannot wait to see her. She's my fave of all time.
I can't wait either. That's going to be fun. We have some very funny queens left, and this is another one of those cases where it's like, oh, I wish Lala were still here.
I know!
But Kandy is funny, too. Kandy, like, in her roast was super, I can't wait. Let's go. Let's do this.
She died.
Yeah, she died.
No, it'll be good. I'm excited to see how this goes, and you know that we'll be talking about it every single week. So always come back here each week, talk with us about Drag Race here on Dragged. So until next time, farewell.